Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys my take on the Nemleria deck. Absolutely love this deck because of the boss monster, Dreaming Nemleria. But without saying too much, let's go ahead and jump on into it. Of course, starting off, we'll run 3 copies of Dreaming Nemleria. This card just says that when this card is in the Pendulum scale, you can activate her effect to be able to take a continuous Nemleria spell and activate it either from your grave or your deck straight to the field, and then you put this card on top of your extra deck face up. Then this card says that if this card is the only card in your extra deck face up, or if this card is the only card in your extra deck, my apologies, you can then special summon this card. Then for every 3 banished face down cards in your banish zone, you can then banish cards on your opponent's field or graveyard face down, then take the same amount of cards that you banish from your opponent, and then shuffle that many cards back from your banish zone into either your deck or extra deck, which is just absolutely insane. Continuing on, we do run 2 copies of Dreaming Reality of Nemleria Realized. This card is just really good, being able to gain 100 attack for each of your face-down cards in your extra deck. And then this card also says that you can just target one monster you control, put that card on the bottom of your deck, and then if you do, special summon this card. And then when this card is special summoned, you can either take a Dreaming Nemleria from your deck and put it face up on your extra deck, or you can target one other monster on the field, flip it face down. So this is just a Book of Moon, which is just really, really good for the deck. Continuing on, we do run 3 copies of Nemleria Dream Devourer Reveal. This card says that if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can banish 3 cards from your extra deck face down. Then this card says that you can send one other level 10 beast monster from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard to add 1 Nemleria trap directly from your deck, which this card can search out one of the best cards in the deck, which we'll go over in just a moment. But continuing on, for the level 10 beasts, we do run 2 copies of Kuet. I think that's how I pronounce this card's name. But pretty much this card, as well as its partner card, O'Reilly, they can both be special summoned from your hand by having a face-up Pendulum monster on your extra deck, which of course would be your Dreaming Nemleria. And then Kuet has the effect of if one of your Nemleria cards were to be targeted by your opponent's card effects, while you control a Dreaming Nemleria card in your face-up extra deck, which of course you would have, you can then banish 1 card from your extra deck that is face down, banish that card face down, protect that card from being targeted or destroyed. And then for O'Reilly, it does the same thing for being able to summon if you control a face-up Pendulum. And then this card says that you can banish 1 card face down from your extra deck if you have a face-up Dreaming Nemleria. And then this card gains 500 attack for each monster your opponent controls. So this card can just get really big and help get over bigger monsters, while the Kuet allows you to be able to just protect your own cards. Continuing on, we do run a package in this deck that I think really fits extremely well. We run, of course, the Maju package. Of course, we only have the 1 super rare, but this card just says that this card's attack and defense are equal to the number of banished cards times 400. So this card can easily just get to insane amounts of attack, especially if you have to banish your entire deck your entire extra deck with all of your other cards. This card's going to quickly gain a bunch of attack. And then, of course, to pair with that, we do run the 2 copies of Eater of Millions. Eater of Millions just allows you to be able to banish cards face down from your hand or your extra deck. Of course, you must send 5 or more. Then you can just special summon this monster, and then this card also has the effect of, if this card were to be attack or attacks before damage calculation, you can then banish the monster that this card's attacking face down, which of course makes this card even bigger because this card's attack points are equal to the number of face-down banished cards times 100. So this card can get really big, really quick, and allows you to just be able to banish a bunch of cards from your extra deck to be able to activate your effect of Dreaming Nemleria even sooner. And then, of course, to wrap it up, I do personally run 1 copy of Gizmek Orochi because this card just says that if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you just banish 8 cards from the top of your deck face down, and then special summon this card. Also, this card says that you can banish 3 cards from your extra deck face down, then target 1 face-up monster on the field and destroy it. So this card just helps being able to clear out your extra deck, as well as being able to clear out your main deck to build up the Maju or even the Eater of Millions. Continuing on into the hand traps, we run 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 3 copies of DD Crow, and 2 copies of Nibiru the Primal Being. The reason why I decided to run the DD Crows and the Nibiru is because these are actually the cards that we use to link Small World into our copies of Dreaming Nemleria, which I will go over that in just a moment. But yeah, that's it for the hand traps as well as the monsters. Let's quickly go ahead and look at the spell cards. Alright, continuing on to the spells, we do run 3 copies of Sweet Dreams Nemleria. This card says that you can add 1 Nemleria monster from your deck to your hand, so that allows you to add your copy of Dreaming Nemleria, or even late game just being able to add your Defenders, your Devourer, or even your Dreaming Reality from your deck to your hand. And then this card also says that if you have a Dreaming Nemleria face up on the extra deck, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects this turn when a Nemleria monster is normal or special summoned. This card also has an effect that says that you can place this card from your graveyard on the bottom of the deck, and then you can target 1 Dreaming Nemleria you control, add it to the extra deck face up. You can only activate 1 Sweet Dreams Nemleria per turn. So pretty much what this card does is it allows you to add 1 of your Nemleria monsters, which of course the main target would be the Dreaming Nemleria, or even if you're like in a later turn, you can activate this effect, search out 1 of your beasts, and then be able to make it to where your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when you summon a Nemleria, which is absolutely insane for this deck, as well as of course giving you a bit of recursion, being able to put your Dreaming Nemleria from your field back on top of the deck. So this card is just really good for the deck and a definite 3 of. Continuing on, we do run, of course, the 2 copies of Dream Tower of Princess Nemleria. I've seen people run 3, however, because this card can so easily be activated in this deck, I think that 2 is just a really good number. Because as I said earlier, Nemleria allows, like the Dreaming Nemleria allows you to get this either from your deck or your graveyard. This card says you can banish 2 face down cards from your extra deck face down, and then add 2 level 10 beasts with different names from your deck to your hand. And you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn you activate this effect, except Pendulum monsters, which of course for the most part in this deck you'd be summoning out your Dreaming Nemleria. Then this card also says that if a Nemleria monster you control will be destroyed by battle or opponent's card effect, while you have a Dreaming Nemleria face up on your extra deck, you can banish 1 face down card from your extra deck face down instead. So therefore, this will not only protect your monsters, but also allow you to search out your beasts. And of course, I think the best ones to search would have to be the Reveal and maybe one of the other 2, just so that way you can have a card to send off of Reveal to set the trap card, which we will go over in just a moment on why the trap card is so good. Continuing on, because we want a bit of consistency in the deck, we do run 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. This could easily be Pot of Extravagance if you really don't care about the extra deck, which we really don't. However, we do use some of the cards on certain occasions, so you could easily just run Extravagance instead of Prosperity because it's so much cheaper. And then I run 2 copies of Pot of Desires because we run the Maju engine. Then to wrap up the spell cards, we do run, of course, 3 copies of Small World. Small World just says reveal 1 monster in your hand, choose 1 monster from your deck that has exactly one of the same type, attribute, level, attack, or defense, banish the revealed monster from your hand face down, then add from your deck to your hand 1 monster that has exactly one of the same type, attribute, level, attack, or defense as the monster chosen from the deck, and banish the chosen card from the deck face down. So practically, this card is a very convoluted way of saying pretty much let me show you the main things for this to kind of explain it. So because most of our cards are lights and darks, I wanted to have enough ways to get into Dreaming Nemleria. So pretty much because I wanted to be able to easily get to Nemleria off of any hand as long as you can get a hold of a light or dark, and a copy of Small World, this pretty much just allows you to easily get into your Nemleria. Because what you do is you're going to activate your Small World. Let's say you open O'Reiler, because it really doesn't matter in this situation. So for this, you're going to have a light, which is Nibiru. Nibiru and your O'Reiler are now going to be banished. The O'Reiler was a card in hand. Nibiru then gets banished as well from the deck. Then you get to search out your Nemleria, giving you access to your entire deck. Same thing can also be said for the lights. For the darks, because we do have the darks, and the main chain piece to that is the DD Crow, because the only thing in common with the darks is the fact that it is a dark, and the thing that connects the DD Crow is the level being level 1. So Small World is a really good card in this deck. I don't really see too many people playing it in Nemleria, but just being able to add even more ways to search out German Nemleria is really good for the deck, and I would highly suggest looking into Small Worlds if you have not already considered it. Alright, and then to wrap up the main deck, we do run 2 copies of Nemleria Louvre. This card says special summon 1 Nemleria monster or 1 level 10 beast monster from your hand or deck in defense position, but return it to the hand during the end phase. This card also says you can banish this card from the graveyard, then target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, and loses 100 attack and defense for each of your currently face-down banished cards until the end phase of this turn. So this card actually is just really good to be able to special summon out something like your Couette for just a little bit of extra defense, or even your copy of Realize, just to be able to put a Dreaming Nemleria on top of your deck, which is just really, really good for the deck. But that's going to be about it for the main deck. Let's quickly go ahead and look at the extra deck. As I said, the extra deck isn't very important for this deck, so I'll just quickly go over that. We do run 1 copy of Relinquished Anima. Anima is only in here because Dreaming Nemleria is a level 1 monster that you can use for the summon of this monster, as well as, of course, just to be able to put your Dreaming Nemleria back on top of the extra deck, which I think is pretty good. Obviously, you can also run stuff like Link Kuriboh, and I am thinking about running it in this deck just to be able to recycle even better. But continuing on, we do run 1 copy of IP Masquerena, and of course the link targets for IP Masquerena is Nightmare Phoenix and Unicorn, just to be able to pop a back row or even just bounce a card back into the deck. Continuing on, we do run 1 copy of Tri-Brigade Shreg, the Ominous Wind. I really like this card in this deck because when this card is summoned, you get to just banish a card. And then if you summon out another beast monster, you can just banish another card, which is just really, really good. Continuing on, we do run 1 copy of Unchained Abomination just to be able to continuously just keep popping cards. Then I do run 1 copy of Boral Sword Dragon. This can literally just be anything. I'm thinking about just dropping it, making it another Link Kuriboh. And we also run Apollosa Bow of the Goddess. As I said, extra deck is not important, but these cards I actually really do like, just in case. Continuing on into the Xyz, we of course run Super Rail Cannon Gustav Max, just because it allows you to burn your opponent for 2,000 points of damage, which is just really good. It's the same reason why you run Sky Palace Gengar Red Eye, I think is how you pronounce that, but this card just says detach 1 material from this card, then target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy that target, and if you do, inflict 1,000 points of damage. All of these monsters are pretty much level 10s, but then we run 1 copy of Super Dora. This card says that once returned during either player's turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, target 1 face-up monster on the field, and that target is unaffected by card effects, except for its own effects until the end of this turn. So pretty much this is just also in here to climb into your Super Dread Knight Rail Cannon Juggernaut Leap. This card says that once returned, you can Xyz summon this card using 1 rank 10 machine Xyz monster you control as material, transfers the materials to this card. Then once returned, you can detach 1 material from this card. It gains 2,000 attack and defense. Also, for the rest of the turn, you can only declare attacks with this card, but that just allows you to be able to get over a big monster or whatever with a 6,000 attack monster, which is just really, really good. Of course, you can easily run cards like Divine Arsenal AA Zeus just to be able to go into Rail Cannon, Leap, and then now you have a AA Zeus with 2 pops on it, which is just really, really good. So honestly, you could easily just drop that for the Boral Sword. And I would even say you can drop the Abomination for a Link Kuriboh. Just giving you guys thought. And then the last 3 cards of the deck. Of course, these cards are the most powerful. We run 3 copies of Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Most powerful card in your extra deck. You can't play this deck without it. But that's about it for the deck profile, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like. Comment down below what you guys think of the deck profile, or don't. It's really up to you guys. But with that being said, guys, see ya.